Amma's heart stopped. Everything afterward became blurry. The rush drive, the hospital lights, the smell of antiseptic, nurses moving quickly through hallways. Then finally she saw him. Nanayal lay unconscious on the hospital bed with tubes attached to his body. Half his face was bruised badly, and bandages wrapped around his head and shoulder. Ama's knees weakened immediately. A doctor approached her gently. Mrs. Mensah, she nodded weakly. He suffered severe trauma from the accident: two fractured ribs, a broken clavicle, head injuries, and cerebral swelling. Will he survive? She whispered. The doctor inhaled carefully. We believe so, but there may be neurological complications depending on how the brain responds. Amma looked at her husband silently. Then another nurse accidentally mentioned something that made her stomach twist. The other woman is still unconscious. Other woman. The words echoed painfully. Later that evening, Amma finally saw her, Selina, lying motionless in another ward, machines breathing for her, her once beautiful face bruised beyond recognition. Amma stood there quietly behind the glass. No anger, no satisfaction, just emptiness. Weeks later, Selina's family transferred her back to their village after doctors confirmed severe neurological damage from the accident. She remained permanently bedridden, barely responsive, almost like a living body trapped without life inside it. For 6 weeks, Nanaya remained hospitalized, and despite everything, Amma stayed. She signed forms, fed him, cleaned him, slept beside his hospital bed. Not because she forgot what he did, but because love and pain sometimes trapped people together in confusing ways. Then one morning, Nana Yao finally opened his eyes properly. The nurse smiled brightly. Mr. Mensah, can you hear me? His eyes moved slowly around the room before stopping on Amma. Confusion filled his face. Who are you? Amma's lips parted slightly. The doctor later explained everything. Post-traumatic amnesia, he said. The impact caused temporary memory loss. Some memories may return gradually, some may not. How long does recovery take? Amma asked quietly. It varies. Weeks, months. Familiar environment can help. Family photographs, emotional connection, routine, cognitive exercises. So she brought him home. And strangely, the man who returned felt different from the one who left. Softer, kinder, present. He laughed with Lily again, asked Amma about her day, sat with her in the kitchen while she cooked. Sometimes he looked at family photos for hours, trying to reconnect memories to faces. You really married me? He asked one evening softly. Amma nodded. He smiled faintly. You must have loved me very much. The irony nearly destroyed her. Everyone called it a miracle. God has restored your marriage, Auntie Ifua kept saying, but Amma knew better. This was not restoration, this was survival. Every time she gave him medication, she remembered another woman calling him baby. Every time he held her hand innocently, she remembered the secret child. Every smile reminded her of betrayal. Still, she stayed. For Lily, only Lily. Months passed. One evening they sat together watching a movie while Lily slept on the carpet nearby. In the movie, a couple got involved in a terrible car accident. The scene showed shattered glass, screaming, blood. Then suddenly, Nanayal grabbed his head violently. Ah! Amma jumped immediately. Nana, his breathing became erratic. Images flooded his mind rapidly. Hotel rooms, phone calls, Selena laughing, the beach resort, the accident, the child. He stood up suddenly, trembling. "Where is she?" he whispered desperately. Amma frowned slightly. "You mean Lily? She's sleeping." He shook his head immediately, almost panicking. "No, no, Selena." The name landed heavily inside the room. Amma stared at him quietly. He looked terrified. "Where is Selena?" Amma swallowed slowly. "She didn't die," she said softly. "But she never fully recovered either." Nanayao's eyes widened. "She suffered severe neurological damage. Her family took her back to the village after the doctor said she may never return to normal." Silence filled the room. Nanayao slowly sat down like his legs could no longer carry him. Then realization finally settled completely onto his face. He looked at Amma and saw the truth sitting in her eyes. "You knew?" he whispered. Amma nodded slowly. "I knew before the accident." Tears immediately filled his eyes. "Amma, He couldn't even form the words. "I'm sorry," he finally whispered. "It was the devil. I made a terrible mistake." Amma laughed painfully. "A mistake?" Her voice shook slightly. "A mistake is sending money to the wrong account, Nanayao, not building another family while sleeping beside your wife every night." He lowered his head immediately. "I never stopped loving you, but you stopped respecting me." That silence hurt more than shouting. Nanayao broke down completely. "I'm sorry, please." Amma sat quietly for a moment before speaking again. "You know why I stayed?" He looked up weakly. "I stayed because of Lily. I didn't want her growing up thinking her father abandoned her. I wanted her to know love, stability, and respect." Tears rolled down his face. Amma inhaled deeply. "And I was waiting for what? For you to get better so we could have this conversation properly." Nana Yao's face crumpled. "Amma, I forgave you a long time ago," she said softly, "because if I didn't forgive you, I would have destroyed myself with bitterness. Maybe I would have stabbed you in your sleep. Maybe I would have become someone I don't recognize." He stared at her silently. "But forgiveness does not mean I can continue being your wife." The room became painfully quiet. Amma looked toward Lily, sleeping peacefully nearby. "She will never know the details," Amma continued. "I don't want her growing up hating you or disrespecting you. Whatever happened between us should remain between us." Nana Yao cried silently. "We can co-parent her peacefully," Amma said calmly. "But this marriage ended long ago. The accident only delayed the burial." His shoulders shook from crying. "Amma, please." She shook her head gently. "My lawyer will serve you the divorce petition next week. We'll proceed on grounds of adultery and irretrievable breakdown of the marriage." He closed his eyes painfully. "We can settle custody arrangements privately if possible," she continued. "Joint parenting, shared visitation. I don't want court fights or unnecessary drama for Lily." For the first time in years, Nanayao understood the full weight of what he had destroyed. Not just a marriage, but a woman who once loved him enough to carry his broken body while quietly carrying a broken heart of her own. And as Amma sat there calmly beside the man she once prayed never to lose, she realized something too. Sometimes love survives betrayal, but trust does not. And without trust, even the deepest love eventually loses its way.